Hey all you cool cucumbers! I'm going to show you some skills today on how to do some simple gardening techniques from your home or apartment, and as well as keep the little ones busy. It's a crazy time right now, so I'm sure we could all use a little distraction. Join me on an adventure into home gardening. So I've had some great success with germinating seeds, and they're really easy. You can find seeds at most grocery stores and home stores, like I think Canadian Tire as well as Home Depot sell them. You can buy them also online, as well as soil you can get at basically every single supermarket right now. So it's a perfect time to start these projects, and hopefully you can be ready and up and running in just a couple of weeks. These are some seeds I've been germinating over the past week. I put them in a tiny bit of water in these plastic containers, and then I kept them in the dark over it with a towel over it. This is the easiest way that I find to see the progress instead of just planting them directly in the soil. All it needs is a tiny bit of water. I like using a paper towel at the bottom sometimes. And you can see there's a lot of growth happening already. There's tomato, kale. You can see the little ends. These are beets. They're kind of hard to see. Not much action there, but I have faith. Here's some Swiss chard. Those are doing extremely well. Snap peas. You can see the little tails there. There's some that are doing better than others. I left them soaking a little too long. I hope it's okay. But we'll take our chances, right? Cucumber, amazing progress. Cucumber is really rewarding. I really highly recommend it because it grows in no time if you want a science project rather than a garden. And then this is Thai basil. See all the growth? Yeah, it's doing really well. So what I'm going to do today is first start my little indoor planters, and I'll show you the progress of some of my other gardens afterwards. So as you could see, I transferred the soil into these planter beds. It was pretty fast, but it took me about 4 or 5 minutes, and that was it. So next, I'm going to show you how to plant the seeds. Here's the planter beds, ready for action. First, the idea is to dig in just a little bit, enough to ensure you can cover it with soil. So I'm digging out kind of a little trench. There's still soil on the bottom and soil on the sides. You'll have to check the packages for each seed and how deep that you want to plant it, as well as weather conditions apply. So whatever your package describes, follow those instructions. This is just a simple guide here. So here's my little trench. I'm going to be planting the kale seeds in this guy. The idea is to get them to grow to a certain point, and then I'm going to thin them out, and that means that you'll see the sprouts coming up eventually, and you're going to want to transplant them into either a bigger container or individual containers, because kale grows super big. It's awesome. Like when you see it in the grocery stores, that's how big it gets in your garden, and it can last forever. If you have a patio outside and kale is your vegetable of choice to grow, I really highly recommend it because it's beautiful, looks like a flower, or a plant, like a little bush, as well as being super tasty and delicious. So here are my kale seeds. They're so cute. I'm just gonna drizzle them in all across. They like cold weather, so this is a good one for me to leave outside. That's a pretty good amount. I'm gonna have a lot of kale from this, I feel. I'm confident. And I'm gonna have to thin it out. But right now you can see all the little tails. Looking healthy. Some don't have them yet. That's okay. We'll give them some time. Once you have your bed sown and all the seeds inside, just slightly cover it on either side with dirt. So the trench is buried. You're probably going to see a little bit. I know this is quite a large container for indoor, but I have to plant my kale seeds outside right now. I'm running out of room. As you'll see later in the video, I've got quite a production going right now. It's really inspired me to learn how to garden because food is my favorite. I love to eat, and it's a good skill to have and to teach. So there you go. I'm gonna put a little bit more dirt on top just for good luck. Okay, once you do that, you have the bit more dirt. I stamp it so that the seeds are fully connecting with the soil. And this is moist soil, as you can see. It's a bit soggy. It was left outside. It rained, so it's perfect because that means I don't have to water it. Otherwise, if you have dry soil that you just pick up from the supermarket, feel free to water it afterwards. That's highly recommended. Keep it moist at all times. Again, following the package instructions. But this is stamping the soil so that the seeds are connecting inside. So another tip I can tell you about is to reuse old containers. This has proved pretty useful for me when I don't have small enough containers for the things that I want to produce. So I took some old non-dairy containers and I cut it so that I made a little tray. They're waterproof and they're solid enough so that you can plant your seeds in something like this for your window shelf, and it's small for the areas that you want to plant. Used to be a tofu container, now it's a future garden. Using these containers for your indoor garden is the perfect way to teach kids about reducing, reusing, and recycling. It's also the perfect size if you live in a small space with not a lot of shelves or areas where you feel like you can plant a garden, like a balcony, window shelf inside of an apartment. As long as you have a sunny patch, you can make a little garden work. But they're great because they're the perfect size, they're waterproof, and you already probably have some in your trash. For the dividers, I have chopped in half this into pieces, and I stuck one in the middle. So this was half of this. Okay, so I stuck in one of these, cut a little slit, cut in a little slit here, and I stick it together. And you have an instant divider. That's really handy to keep track of where your seeds are. You can do this with any kind of material that is basically waterproof or cardboard. You don't want to put in paper, that'll dissolve really quickly. Plastic, I don't know. It has enough plastic. Everything has plastic. So just try and use something that your food came with, or cardboard. Cardboard's pretty natural, so that's a good option. So here you have it, the final product. I have put in the soil and then I cut out the pieces. I needed a couple extra pieces, so I just used the old container or a box packaging for Indian food. It was delicious. So what you want to do is stamp the soil a little bit initially. This is for smaller section growths like basil, because you're going to want to thin that out. and it's not as large and it's really delicate. Here we go, stamping away. All right, now the fun part. I'm going to use this stick. You can use anything like a pencil or whatever to create your trench inside of your newly created window side garden. You want to dig it deep enough so that you can cover it with soil, but also shallow enough so that it doesn't stay so in there and then it never reaches sunlight. Like, it'll grow better if there's soil in the bottom. Right. So here's my basil seeds. Collected a piece of tree here. I'm going to take a little scoop. You can see the nice growth. And scoop it in. My little embryos. So yeah, just divide it up evenly. As many as you want in there. Remember, each one of these is a potential plant. So I don't want to put too many in. But in this case, it's easier just to clump them all together. Kind of spread them out a bit. And then when you're ready, you can cover it with dirt. All done. Planted all my seeds and I've got a lot of progress. Here we go. I've got the planters here. They're a bit bigger than a little home garden, but you can do it in these size for your windowsills. I had a lot more to plant. It was a big project and an undertaking. So all finished here. Super pleased with this. It's going to take up a lot of space. Eek. But I'll show you my home garden that I've already started. Here's the garden I've already started. It's in a nice sunny window. And I've got a lot of growth already on certain things. As you can see, it's easy to spread it out using old egg containers. Here's some of the recycled things I've used. Labeled them with toothpicks and tape. So here's my cucumbers, my cucumber farm. They're coming along really well. They're so cute. So they're going to be great when they come out. And they're in these little boxes. This is an old ice cube tray. I'm just using whatever I can find. See, here's another plastic container with cardboard. Same. I've got some lettuce growing. Oh my God, I have 1, 2. Here's some dill. It's gonna be delicious. And bunching onion. They're growing nicely. Gonna have a whole field of grass soon. Those are gonna have to be thinned out because, as you can see, as the individuals, they grow with their roots. So you have to just make sure that they're in a bigger container, but this is just for the starting progress. And more lettuce, just one. Some are old seeds, some are new seeds, so we're going to see what happens. But I'm really happy with my cucumbers. As I said, it's great to see something like this progress so nicely, and they're great to eat. And here's more dill. And those two, we're still waiting to see if anything's going to come of that. But yeah, so that's my little garden that I've started. So another fun technique, just to see some progress if you're impatient and you don't want to start a whole garden, is when you're done with your bunching onions, spring onions, whatever you like to call them, you cut them off and then you can reuse the root. I put them in a container with a plastic cover and an elastic around it, filled with water. And you can leave it on a windowsill or somewhere sunny. And all of a sudden, in a week or so, you get this kind of growth. It's great to show kids, you know, if you want to do a science experiment. I'm just doing it for fun. Why not? Just reuse everything right now. So yeah, that's another little project you can do just to see immediate results. That's fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this tutorial of home gardening and how easy it is, and maybe it'll inspire you to start your own. I'd love to see what you come up with in your progress, and if you have any other suggestions about reusing containers or any kind of seeds and progress that you come up with, let me know. And feel free to pass on this information to anybody who is looking to do a home garden, inspiration for something fun to do. It doesn't take up a lot of time. It's only the beginning stages that you have to watch the seeds very carefully and water them in germination mode. But other than that, it's just a little rinse every day, little bath. And the seeds should come along just nicely as long as you germinate them in the water. So feel free to give me a shout and let me know about your progress, and I'll keep you posted on mine, especially my cucumbers. I'm really pumped about them. All right.